Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everyone. When you get married, it's a performance. Let's be honest. You're really, it's a show. I don't want to say you're putting on a show, but it's a performance. There's a whole bunch of different things that need to be produced, from the nuptials to the catering. There's a lot of different pieces that go into it, and many times it can get unnerving. A little anxiety ensues, some stress. You need a therapist, so you need a producer, you need a therapist. I found somebody that does all of that with that background and more on the beautiful island of Hawaii, Kona, to be exact. This is what she does. She's helped hundreds and hundreds of couples begin their new lives together in paradise. She could do the same for you or somebody you know. She is the woman behind Simple Kona Beach Weddings. Becky Ringler is back with us. How are you doing today?
Steve, thanks. How are you? Looks
very, very well.
I'm fall there where you are. It's always summer here, but
to be honest, it's a little chilly for me. It's like upper 60s and sunny. I'm grateful for that. But as I get older, I'm going to be honest, and I'm saying this to everybody. Now I get, when I was younger, when people would say, yeah, the snowbirds are going to Florida. Yeah. Now I get it. Like, I just want to be warm. And you got it pretty much all year long. Before we go anywhere, before we move forward at all, I want to say congratulations. We just passed, by 2 days, 12 years since you packed up and moved to Kona.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of a big deal. As of this taping, anyway. It's been 12 years since we moved here. My husband and I just we made a decision that we wanted to move to Hawaii, and we'd gone to a wedding here with one of his friends, and we got home and we're like, let's do it. So we just literally started packing our suitcases with no plan other than we were moving, and we moved 3 months later. So it's a big deal. Still best decision ever. I always tell people, like, you just need to make a decision, and then you do it. And then if you don't like it, you can make new decisions. But we do like it. And we're very glad we made this decision. So here we are. Yeah, it's been really great.
And I know that you moved in a couple of places, but one of them was upstate New York. Did you come from upstate New York to Kona?
No. So I grew up in upstate New York, and then my parents are still there. And then I went to school in Chicago at Northwestern, and then I lived in Japan, teaching English. And then I moved to New York City, was there for several years. Then I moved to San Francisco, where I went to grad school and was there for, again, a chunk of time. And then I got married, and then 5 years into our marriage, we moved here. So,
wow.
So we moved here from the Bay Area. Yeah. Which I have to say, San Francisco was cold for me. People are like, it's perfect. It's like 70 all the time. It is like, no, it's not. It's colder. To me, it's colder than that. I am a summer person. Although I grew up in upstate New York, where it can be very cold in the winter, there was always the payoff of summer. And I feel like I never got that in San Francisco. So for me, I'm very pleased being warm all the time. Now I'd like to visit winter.
You're saying what I've always been thinking. I've always wanted to move to a warmer climate, Florida. Since I was in my 20s, I just didn't have the confidence to do that. And my thought is, if you're gonna move and you want warmer, go big or don't go. Like,
yeah.
just go. Like, I get what you're saying. San Francisco, San Diego. Yeah, it's nice. You know, it's nice, but not warm enough.
Not warm enough. If you like hot or warm. And the thing is, Hawaii is almost, like, I'd say the average temperature is 82, which to me is my perfect temperature.
Mm-hmm.
That is my ideal. It's not too hot.
Yep.
It's definitely, like, I like wearing dresses. It is a perfect throw on the dress weather all the time. I do keep a little jacket in my purse, which I wear in the store. So anyone coming for their wedding,
Wow.
I always say, hey, make sure you bring a jacket for inside in case it's air conditioned, but outside, most likely you're not going to need it unless you're staying up a place up the hill, like up the mountain. Then it can get cold here in the winter. It can snow on this island up at elevation, but not usually where people live. But it can get kind of chilly, like in the 60s, if you're up in the mountain area, which a lot of people live kind of up 1,500. I would say around 2,000 feet is when it starts to get pretty chilly, but it can get a little cooler. We do have seasons. They're very subtle.
I,
So
I can't even imagine that having seasons. To me, it's summer.
yeah,
It's year
it
round.
is. It's variations of summer. And I look for the changes like we're so close to the equator that the light doesn't change. Sometimes people say, gosh, if I have a sunset wedding in the summer, it's going to be like 9 o'clock. I'm like, nope, the latest the sun sets is 7:06 ever in the summer here. And then the earliest it sets is 5:44. So we have a very small window. The light doesn't change that much here.
Wow. That's kind of the game changer right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. So the
It's always a
latest,
good time to have a sunset wedding. You can still have dinner afterwards and it's not weird.
well,
So
makes life easier for you because you can plan. Somebody comes in January or they come in, I don't know, August, you'll know within some latitude of the sunset. What was the latest sunset you said?
7:06. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's always and it stays that way for like a month and a half once we hit the solstice. And what changes is the sunrise time changes a little bit. And then eventually the sunset changes by like a minute each day. And then when we hit the winter solstice, interestingly, the sun is actually coming up, but it's the sunrise that is getting shorter a little bit when we hit the solstice. It's I have my sunset calendar on my phone as an open tab all the time because
Mhm.
it is something I look at every day and I have it almost memorized. I can tell you, generally speaking, I'm pretty sure when the sun's going to set when your wedding is because I look at it so much.
Mm.
So,
And as you know, here in New York, and maybe a little bit different upstate, I'm more downstate New York.
yeah,
It's anywhere from like 4:25 p.m. until like 8:45 p.m.
yeah,
I mean, it's a wide range depending on the time of year.
yep,
Um, did you realize when you moved, you finally made a decision, we're moving, that's what we're doing, that
yeah,
you didn't need a lot of stuff. Once
yeah.
you sifted through everything, what are we taking, what are we not? Did you come to that realization that we don't really need a lot with us? We thought we did. We amassed all this stuff over years.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very liberating. And in fact,
Mm,
we just found out we have to move houses. We've rented the same house for 12 years. And we just found out they're selling the house and we have to move. And we did find a place. And we are doing the same thing now because after 12 years, one amasses stuff that one doesn't need. But I will say that when you move across the ocean and you have to ship everything in a container, you definitely are like, I don't need this. Like there's so much stuff we let go. We've become um you I'm I say my husband and I are pretty sentimental. I'm a Yankee at heart, so it's hard for me to throw certain things away that might be useful.
hmm
But I've gotten to say, no, I don't need this. I try to pull the practical side, like, have I used this recently? Do I think I ever will? No, I'll donate it. I'll throw it away. I like to donate if I can. If it's still useful, I like to at least
Sure.
donate it. But I don't like to toss things that someone else might be able to use.
Yeah.
But either way, yeah, it was very liberating to just like let it go. And
So I'm gonna. I truly appreciate your transparency. I want to make sure I heard that right. You, after 12 years, were living in the same place, and now they're selling it. So now you had to find another one. Was it easy to find someplace else, comparable price, things like that?
we were very lucky. It was a place we knew that they might be selling, so I had started looking, and it was the place that the place that I kept coming back to was the place that we ultimately ended up getting and signing the papers for renting. But it's a tight market right now. It's very expensive to live here.
Yeah.
I mean, prices have more than doubled since we moved here in terms of
Right.
renting. Um, I mean, and we had originally wanted to buy the house that we're in, but I mean, they want to sell it for like way over $1 million, which is just not in the cards. So it's like one of those things where it's just, um, yeah, Hawaii has
Believe me, I got you. I
post
sold
COVID, especially things have just
th-
skyrocketed. Yeah,
3 years ago. I sold. I put an offer on a house right after I sold. Even before I sold, I'm like, yeah, let me. And then something said don't, and I go with my intuition, so I trust that that was a good decision. And I'm still renting. because the market is crazy. It's like, why, where I am, it is the highest ever it's been in these counties. And, the numbers you're talking about and what I'm talking about, it's like, doesn't
Yeah.
even, there was a joke the other day, a house is for sale here. I know digression, but just, shows where the markets are. It's 600 and something square feet, and it's at least a $500,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not even that nice. It's a
Yeah.
little bungalow, if you will. So yeah, waiting on that, waiting on that. Um, when you moved, you weren't married.
No, I was. We were married.
Oh, okay. So you didn't get married on Kona
We
or in
did get,
Hawaii.
we got married here.
Oh, you did.
And then we were living though in California. So we were living in California when we got married here, which is how I
Okay.
know it's like for my couples to come from somewhere else and not, and I had trouble getting a hold of anybody. It was so frustrating for me. I hated it. And still, even today, uh, what is it? Almost, we got married in 2008. So however many years ago that was. Um, Even today, it is still hard to find certain things online. Like people's websites are not that great here. So much is word of mouth. It
Wow.
helps know people, which I've been doing this over 10 years now. I know a lot of people in town and I make good connections. And I have to thank my husband for some of these because he talks to everybody. And that is one thing. By the way, when you come to Kona, and you'll find that if you're coming for your wedding or vow renewal or just for a visit, people will talk to you when you're having lunch or whatever. We talk to each other. It's not uncommon for tables to talk to each other. Uh, my husband has made more connections in the water when we're swimming than any other time. He's like, we should get laminated business cards and I should have them in my bathing suit. But that's how people connect here. We connect doing things we love and definitely lunch. I wouldn't say as much at dinner, but definitely lunch. People talk to each other. You
Wow.
and people all the time. It's great.
Isn't that the way it's supposed to be?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just people talking and forming relationships and see how we can help each other. You have an interesting background. You have acted, produced. I'm going to center on that one for just a moment. And I
Yeah.
find that fascinating because it's kind of what you're doing now. You're
Yeah.
producing a production, if you will, a wedding. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of different pieces, cues that need to take place. And I'm not just talking about the couple and the wedding party or anything like that. From the flowers, if there's music, blah blah blah, blah on and on and on. Tell us about your background when it comes to acting
Yeah.
and producing.
So I went to Northwestern for theater. I had done a lot of theater in high school, and at Northwestern, I was in a theater major. So I obviously performed in a lot of shows, but also I did a lot of producing. And there's a lot of great opportunities there to produce shows. And I co-produced three, ironically, musicals. I'm not a musical theater person. I was just a straight play person. So lots of comedies and such. And in fact, my senior year, I co-produced the largest student-produced musical in the country. We had a
Oh, wow.
enormous budget, and we managed like all the logistical stuff. My co-producer managed all the marketing stuff, and I did all the logistical things to make sure the show happened.
Hmm.
And ironically, he is a huge producer for Disney now. Anyway, but we I feel like that. And when I went to New York, I was an actress. I didn't want to tell anybody that I knew how to produce because I did not I didn't want to get sucked into that. I enjoyed performing. Um, and I was very good at producing and but I didn't it was very stressful. However, here when I'm doing weddings, it is like my favorite parts of producing. Making sure all the pieces are in place. I enjoy the organization of that, making sure everything runs smoothly. I can see how something should run so that it is the most efficient. And then, uh, and then of course, when I perform a wedding, I get to perform, and it's different every time, and because every couple's different. And ironically, although it is a production and a performance, I always tell my couples this is you don't have to perform for anybody. Like this is just for you. I want you to feel comfortable. This is about
Mm.
your love and your relationship. That's why you get married in Hawaii. So my job is to make sure that the performance goes well and then the couple can just have it happen however it happens and that they don't need to feel any pressure about it being perfect or trying to please everybody. that's why people have these intimate weddings in Hawaii. It's supposed to be about their love. And yes, they have maybe sometimes they have loved ones with them, but um, my goal is then to kind of hold the space and create an environment that is really magical for everyone. So yeah, that's
Wow.
great.
Um, you said something, and it almost goes against the grain of what we think, but so many couples, I think, get jump down that rabbit hole of thinking that they have to put on a performance or a show for the guests. And I get it. And at the last wedding I was at was it's coming up almost a year ago, maybe 9 months. Um, but I looked around and it felt like a production. And I would feel uncomfortable if I'm the couple, like people are watching, got to make sure everything's perfect and all of that. How do you get that out of somebody's head? How do you get them to not think that?
I feel like we have a lot of discussions around that. And also, it is really much easier when you're on the beach.
Well, okay.
I mean, it helps. I
Yeah.
will say that I did a wedding just the other day, and the family was a little distracted. So sometimes that happens. I was aware they were lovely people. They were aware that the family might be like that. And when I sometimes the family is very invested and is right there present with everyone. And occasionally you get families that are just like, I don't know, like just not, they're there to be there. But in those cases, especially, I really try to hone in on the couple and create a space for them so that they can feel like it is just for them. Um, and
Mm,
when everyone's really engaged, which is my preference, right? If all the audience members, the guests are engaged, I make sure everyone, feels like in this little bubble of inclusion. And I always do my best to make sure that other people but this is what I mean. Like sometimes I don't know what we're going to get until we arrive. Like they can tell me, but I try to just say, hey, I want you to set everything aside. The most important thing is sometimes, no matter how loud I project, we're on the beach, the wind could be sucking away. As long as you can hear me, that's the most important thing. I don't ever like to use a mic unless, of course, I have video or something, then I will obviously be mic'd up. But amplification, A, is not allowed on the beach in Hawaii. And B, I feel like it takes away from that natural thing. I know how to project, but
hmm
again, if the wind is blowing away, and the waves are going, there's nothing to be done. So I do my best. And as long as the couple can hear me, that is the most important thing. And everyone else can feel like it felt really beautiful, even if they can't hear. So yeah.
your theatrical side slipped through because you said mic'd up. Only somebody in the production side of things would use that term. No, you didn't say I could hold a mic or you could put a lavalier on me. No, no, I'd be mic'd up. That is such a classic term. Totally get it. Um, when you work with people, this is such an intimate, emotional, exciting time in their lives. It's like you're a therapist, and you have a background in that too. Tell us.
Yeah, I had my master's in expressive arts therapy, a marriage and family therapist. My concentration was in expressive arts therapy. So I used all forms of art to help facilitate the therapeutic process. And I did that for several years in the hospital. And I did dating relationship coaching and lots of stuff. But I feel like it comes in very handy. There's a lot of emotions that come up around weddings. Just like last week, we did a wedding for a couple, and we will have that couple definitely on in the coming weeks as some guests, so you can meet them.
Cool.
But I remember the day we met, I met them. I think my husband was with me that day. We met them on the beach to kind of pick out their favorite spots. And I noticed that one of the brides was very, this was two brides. One of the brides was very she looked like she was going to cry. And I was like, are you okay? You just
Mm,
look like you're going to cry. And she was like, I just feel so anxious. I'm not like, she wasn't anxious to get married. She was just anxious. And I feel like those kinds of things, um, I think it's really important to be able to read people and to make sure that they feel safe and supported.
yeah.
So, we were very like, and of course her partner was like, babe, I got you. It's going to be okay. But regardless, I mean, and the wedding itself was magical and beautiful, but um, sometimes the emotions are, you don't even understand what they are, right? You just have a lot of things that happen. And if someone starts to cry or laughs. I had this one bride that laughed through the entire ceremony. And I was like, does she think I'm dumb? Like, I just went with it. We just kept going. And afterwards, her mom was like, oh my gosh, I should have warned you. She laughs whenever she's nervous. And, and I figured that was the case. I'm like, well, we'll just plow ahead, even if she's
Yeah.
laughing at me. But yeah, a lot of things come up. And my job is to hold the space and to make sure everyone feels contained. Sometimes that's injecting humor to get kind of pull someone out. Sometimes it's a touch on the arm. Sometimes it's just we all take a moment. Only I would say maybe 3 times have I actually teared up and started crying during a ceremony when it's been so touching. But I pull it together because really my job is to hold the space, not to lose it. But I'm human. Sometimes it's really
Sure.
deep. Like there's things that happen that are just really emotional during a ceremony too. So yeah.
And especially there's so many different aspects of it. Let's say somebody's parent or parents are not here anymore. So, or they couldn't travel. So they're
Yeah.
not there. So there's so many different emotional components that come into play. Um, I feel that you are a good reader of people. You're picked up. It's almost like your intuition, your empathy. You're already kind of feeling it out. So you know how to work with them, even if it's on a Zoom. I'm sure you pick up on that. I'm
Yeah.
sure couples therapy. I'm sure you look at couples and read their language together. Sometimes it can be a little challenging. One has an opinion, the other has an opinion. I think you've probably seen it all by now.
Yeah. And most of the time I would say, it's I can usually figure out like what a couple needs, right? And obviously if it's not a good fit, we don't work together ultimately. But I feel like a game changer was being able to do Zoom with my couples because I used to do it all by the phone and I would listen really closely to what they were saying. But it is way more fun for me to be able to see their faces and to be able to read, like, because then we have a real connection and I can really see what is the silence, what is that silence meaning? Are they thinking really hard? Are they writing notes to each other? Like I can see. So I
Mm,
don't have to think about what does silence mean. Usually it's they're lost in thought. Like I ask them a question, they're like, wow, what does my wedding mean to me? Or like whatever it might be. Um, so I feel I feel really lucky. I feel like that's one of my most favorite things is to be able to work with different types of people. Again, if we're not a fit, we're not going to work together ultimately anyway. Um, but I would say that it's a real I feel like it's such a joy to get to meet so many people like embarking on their marriage journey. I feel
Everybody's essentially has a common goal, but I guess the cool part must be the diversity. All different couples, all different parts of the world, all different views on how they want it to go. So I have to believe, Becky, it never gets boring for you.
never. That's what's so fun about it. I mean, I feel like I could, although it is the essence is the same, it is different because people are different. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah,
They're whether they're alone or whether they bring a group. Uh, the night is different. The things that happened the other day, we had dolphins. There was it's it's always different, and that's what makes it. There's always things that happen that make it interesting or a challenge or as smooth as can be. So it's and sometimes no matter how much I plan, the X factor is the family that I haven't met, and then I'm like, oh, okay.
this one's a little bit different.
Yeah, and I think, oh, I could have done XYZ better. And I thought, no, I couldn't have because I didn't know I didn't know this. Like, and
Yeah.
I mean, almost never do you meet all the guests. And the difference is they're not sitting in chairs. So when people are free range standing, that's when you have sort of the X Factor family, that then things can go a little, you don't
For
know.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no right or wrong. There's no judgment.
No.
Um,
Yeah, I don't have any judgment for that. It's more that
no,
like I just have to roll with it and like make the best decision for what's there. Yeah.
something different. Something different. Here's something different. You have created, along with this, along with marrying couples and planning their new lives, the beginning of their new lives together, you have created a coloring book based on Hawaii. It's
I
an
have.
adult coloring book. Yeah. How cool is
Yeah,
that?
and I mean, okay, I do have there are kids that do this, but I have a former bride of mine actually um got this for her. She runs a daycare and she's like, "Oh my God, it's so beautiful." She's like, "I don't want to rip any of the pages out for my kids. It's so pretty." So, it's called Aloha Adventures. a cute and cozy animal coloring book. I am and will be selling this in some stores here in Kona, but it is available on Amazon. And yeah, it's a really beautiful, like this is the manta ray dive. I don't know if you can see this or not, but
Oh yeah, it's very clear.
yeah, so there's like cool things, activities, and I spent a lot of time with the artists, really trying to get, you know, there's a little chameleon hidden in every page, really trying to get the essence of Hawaii, bring in specifics related to actually living, living here. And yeah, it's a beautiful book. I'm very I feel so lucky, and I hope everyone gets a copy. It's a great way to bring yourself to Hawaii. It's a great thing to get if you're coming to Hawaii for your wedding or any reason for yourselves or for your kids. And even my mother-in-law, who initially was like, I, what's the point of a coloring book? She has one, of course. She's been coloring it and it is amazing. We're like, oh my God, I didn't know you could do that. She sends us her pictures of
Wow.
her things. And I'm like, oh my God, we're both so impressed. And and she loves Hawaii, but I mean, I'm impressed. She's like, it's actually really fun. I was like, see, I told you it was really fun. So yeah. And there's even in the beginning, little tips about how best to do it. There's tips for markers and put a page in the front over here, make sure you put paper so that it doesn't bleed through. So I feel yeah, that's just a fun
It was
little
very well thought out. Got to tell you, right down to the advice on what markers to use in the very beginning of the book, because I've done it with my daughter too. Other books before I found yours, they don't do that. I bought markers on Amazon. That didn't work. Send it back. Buy these. That didn't work. Send it back until I found a set that worked, which is actually the one that you recommend in the beginning of the book.
great.
So this can be found on Amazon. It's now in stores in Hawaii, and it's mother-in-law approved. So
Yes, and mother-in-law approved.
yeah.
And they make amazing gifts also as the holiday season is approaching. If you want to get something fun for somebody, it is a great gift to get people. And I have my mom bought 5. She's like, there's so many people I want to give these to. And so she has a bunch, and they're fun to have on hand as gifts. So,
Totally.
and of course, to use for yourself too. So,
And if somebody's getting married in Hawaii, what a great wedding favor too.
oh yeah,
Super
yeah,
cool.
totally.
Very different.
Yeah,
SimpleKonaBeachWeddings.com. Is that right?
that's correct. Yep.
Yeah. If you're even pondering, maybe going to Hawaii, and who are you going to call? I don't know anybody there. It's going to be you, and start the process, start the conversation. Becky, always great having you on here. I'm glad that we went a little bit deeper into your history, because it's amazing our journey, where we start and where it brings us and where we continue to go. But all that stuff that you did back in the past I got you ready for now. It's amazing.
I feel like that. I feel like it prepared me to do this and to do it well. And I feel really, it's amazing how our past can bring us to our present.
You never know. You just don't know. All right. I do know that you're fantastic, and I appreciate it, and we'll catch up soon. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks.
Bye.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.